Ladies, please stop stressing out your man. Hello everyone, I'm Vanessa. I'm a psychology student currently in university, studying to be a psychotherapist in a good few years, and I make videos on YouTube helping you understand yourself and those around you better. So thank you for clicking on this video, and please subscribe if you like my content, and let's get into it because this one's a doozy. So if I'm looking down because I wrote some notes for you guys, and I'm just so excited to get into this video. Excuse my cat. What the? Okay, so she decided to support me during the filming of this video. She's looking at me right now, so if you hear any purring in the background, I'm sorry, but I think it's relaxing, so. Okay, so I've heard that on TikTok, many people are saying this, I don't know, tip, trick, advice to stress out your man because that's gonna increase your guys' bonding, and you know, he is going to commit to you and all that kind of jazz because of this hormone that we produce, both men and women, called vasopressin, or the antidiuretic hormone. Now, this is a hormone that your hypothalamus produces, and it is basically responsible for vasoconstriction, so constricting your blood vessels basically, to increase your blood pressure, water retention in your kidney and your cells. Also promotes memory, which is quite interesting. And when you're stressed, your body stressed, it produces more vasopressin. It is also produced in more amounts when smoking and when you have morphine in your system. Vasopressin levels plummet when you drink alcohol and drink water. So there have been a few studies, and vasopressin looks to be specific to species. So in one species it promotes bonding, the other it promotes more aggressive behavior and social investigation. So that means that aggressive behavior is usually defending territory or a mate, and social investigation is usually, you know, like figuring out another individual. So basically interacting with them, communicating with them, and trying to see if they are friend or foe. Now, in some species, it's been found that when two specimens of a species overcome a challenge together, then vasopressin increases and thus creates bonding between the two. So that is true, but not in the sense that one individual stresses out the other, but solving a problem, a challenge, getting through something together. So it's like, this is an extreme example, but just think about, like, there have been many cases of people falling in love in rehab because, you know, it's a challenge, it's hard, and they are doing it together, and that basically like bonds them together, or overcoming some type of trauma, maybe that could be it, and stuff like that. So it's not about one stressing out the other and thus the other becomes more bonded. No, it's about communication and overcoming something together. Like you two are in a group against one problem. And interestingly, vasopressin also goes up in men when they're dating someone that they're sexually interested in, but it drops during sexual intercourse. Love and bonding is quite a complex topic, and we can't really say that, oh, this one hormone causes everything and this is why we fall in love, because it's multiple things at once playing together to create this feeling and this phenomenon that we call love. And human love especially is very debated over, because nothing is really certain, and up until now, no matter how many tests and blood tests and hormone tests and brain scans, MRI scans, stuff like that we conducted, we still don't really know what causes love and why we fall in love and stuff like that. So just take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. I also wanted to talk about why stressing him out is not really a good idea. Because based on association and conditioning, if you're a woman, you as a woman are conditioning this other person, let's say a man, you're conditioning him to associate you with stress. So it's, it can be a typical like stimulus and response type of situation. So maybe every time you call him, he gets really stressed, and after a while he won't pick up the phone for you because he just doesn't want to talk to you because you always stress him out. And I'm not saying don't give him like challenges in a way that he can help you, because that can increase their self-esteem, and they can typically feel more manly when they're helping you. But stressing him out in a way of like really stressing him is not the way to go. So if he's in survival mode, he won't have time to bond with you and fall in love with you and anything like that, because back in the day, survival mode is like really primal. Our stress responses are really primal. And back in the day, a bear was chasing us or something was chasing us and we had to run, honey. So he just won't have time to like even pay attention to bonding and liking another person or loving on someone, like it just doesn't make sense. And please stop being so desperate to secure these men, because if Like, you need to get serious about your dating game, okay? If someone is serious about you, then you won't have to play these mind games with them. You won't need like any of these strategies. And the main thing that I want you to do instead of stressing him out is being honest and, you know, informing the other person about your wants, your needs, your boundaries, because you can't build a foundation on mind games and strategies like this. And honestly, it's childish, okay? We are not in kindergarten anymore. Alright, so in this next chapter, I wanted to talk to you guys about how and why do we like the people that we do. Because, yeah, like, maybe you wouldn't think so, but we learned this in psychology classes. So let's get into it. I'm gonna read my notes for this one. So the first one is the social desirability bias. And it basically says that attractiveness is influenced by, first, physical attractiveness. Of course, let's be honest. So if someone says that physical attractiveness doesn't matter, they're lying to you. I'm sorry. So when I mean physical attractiveness, some traits include facial symmetry and body type and body condition. Of course, because, you know, evolutionarily speaking, we want someone that's healthy to be our mate, because evolution doesn't really think about your feelings. It thinks about reproducing. From an evolutionary standpoint, body type could also mean, for women, the waist to hip ratio, because that speaks volumes about women's fertility. Nowadays, you know, yes, there's this body type of the hourglass body type for women, but those women are not the only ones who can produce and birth children. You know what I mean? So please don't be insecure about your waist to hip ratio, and don't try to be something that you're not. So if you have more of a squarish body type, love it, accept it. I love it and other people love it. So just don't try to fit into this box of, oh, an hourglass body is the body standard right now, because in a few years it's gonna change to something more squarish and stuff like that. So, and for men, it's typically, you know, the muscles, the hairiness, and typically signs of testosterone. So a stronger bone structure on the face, and also in terms of the body and, you know, the shoulders. Also in terms of the social desirability bias, attractiveness is also influenced by genetic health and access to resources. So this could mean height for men typically, also for men physical power and money. There's been recent surveys and research that also shows that one of the other first signs that women look for in men is also kindness. So there you have that. So kindness, access to resources. This could also mean like not just money, but networking or also ambition, because sometimes we as women, you know, who are attracted to men, we don't really, it's more about the potential sometimes. So if there's ambition and, you know, a growth mindset, then we might also go for those men, even though they currently do not have the assets and the resources. Okay, next is the similarity hypothesis, which is basically based on personal traits. So if you guys are similar in terms of traits, personality trait, and this is because similarity brings comfort, familiarity, and also in-group membership. So you guys are basically part of the same group of people because you have similar or the same personality traits, and it's easier to create a bond that way. And yeah, also easier interaction. Who would have thought? And the next one is the two-way attraction hypothesis, which basically says that we find people attractive who express interest in us or who we perceive as them being attracted to us. There were multiple studies as well regarding this, of course, and as a, you know, a general result, I can tell you that the most popular people were also the ones who were interested in the most people. So if you are interested in someone, then there's a higher chance of you being liked by them, which is, you know, quite interesting, because you would think that, you know, popularity is based on general likableness or kindness or charisma or being funny, but it's not really, the studies show. So make sure to actually listen to people, be interested in people, and there's a higher chance, a higher probability that they will like you back. I do have to warn you though, because too much interaction, it can cause friction in relationships. So some people don't like interacting maybe as much as you do, so you have to kind of feel that out, you know. The last one that I want to talk about is the interaction hypothesis, and this basically means that we like people who we engage in positive interactions with, because again, it creates familiarity and satisfies our need of control and our need of belonging. And also in terms of the need of belonging, mimicry and copying the other person can also be found. But, you know, the progression of relationships after this point is also quite a lot. So if you guys want a separate video about that, I would gladly make one. Make sure to let me know. Okay, so the main takeaway that I wanted to communicate to you with this video is basically to, whether you're dating or you know, dating for friendship, is to be honest and have mature communication. Please stop playing these mind games because I think everyone is tired of them by now. Be serious about your dating game, okay? And more so bond through touch. Touch is one of the biggest bonding experiences that you can have, because it increases oxytocin, which is the actual most important hormone in human bonding. You know, it's often called the trust hormone or the touch hormone, the bonding hormone. So yeah, and also you can bond through shared interests and consistency. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe, and I'll be back soon to see you with another one. Bye bye.